Well, good evening. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. This is an update for the All Hazards Consortium's Sensitive Information Sharing Environment Fleet Response Working Group for the movement of fleet utility vehicles across state lines to help restore power quicker and for the ease of sharing information across borders for states and federal agencies. This is a 5 p.m. update on Hurricane Lee. We do have Hurricane Lee still out there. As a matter of fact, latest hurricane reconnaissance missions have shown that Lee is showing a little bit better organization around its core, but it is maintaining its Category 3 status. Currently, you can see Lee spinning here, close, just north of Puerto Rico. Here's what it looks like right here. I'm pointing it out with the arrow. And over to the right is another spinning system that we do not have to worry about at all. That's Hurricane Margot. Lee is still over very warm waters and is likely to start to transition to a more northward movement over the next couple of days. Let me show you GeoCollaborate and what it looks like. You can see the wind field right now. This is the current wind field, tropical storm force winds. Then in the green, storm force. Can zoom in there a little bit here. And then on the inner core is the hurricane force winds. And notice how wide they are. They do extend out a good distance from that center. And that is going to be the most important part of the transition as Lee moves into the northern latitudes. Right now, it's encountering very warm sea surface temperatures. It is going to encounter gradually cooler sea surface temperatures once it gets north of the jet stream. As a matter of fact, let me turn on the jet stream or the sea surface temperature data, and you can see what I'm talking about. There is Lee right now in this very warm water. However, you can see just to the north, here's Bermuda right here. Just to the north, we have much cooler sea surface temperatures. That's because we had some previous hurricanes and tropical storms moving over that part of the ocean, and it upwelled a lot of cooler water. So that is showing up on the sea surface temperatures. And look, just here is the Gulf Stream that's curving and giving lots of loops and eddies here. But once Lee moves to the north of the Gulf Stream, it is going to be in very hostile waters for strengthening. However, Lee is going to be transitioning into an extratropical storm, and that means that the wind field is going to be much larger. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. I just want to show you the forecast here, 72 hours out from the 5 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. And this shows that winds are expected to be 85 miles per hour with wind gusts to 105 miles per hour. I'm going to take this full screen because I want to show you, first of all, this is Lee in the mesoscale sector. This is a high-resolution satellite loop from the GOES satellite, and that is showing imagery every 1 minute. You can see Lee is still a very powerful storm in those warm Atlantic waters. What I want to do is show you this sea surface temperature data here. And I'm going to turn off the sea surface temperatures right now, just so I can give you a better indication of the wind field and the wind field forecast. So there go the sea surface temperatures. But what I do want to put on is the wind field forecast. I'm going to back out here and show you the entire path of Lee. Back out just a little bit more. So here we go. I'm going to get rid of that menu right there so you can see Hurricane Lee right here. I want to show you what happens with the wind field as it's forecast to move northward. So this is what the wind field looks like. And now I'm going to zoom in here because the wind field for Lee right now looks like this. But look how it expands significantly as the storm is going to move towards the north. And the models are indicating, and the National Hurricane Center is indicating, a slight westward jog in this area. Now, you can envision the wind field forecast only goes out to 72 hours here. But you can envision this even expanding more and moving up along this line. Now, if Lee moves towards the west of this cone, the western part of this cone, that's the center of Lee, we're going to have high impacts here throughout all of New England with tropical storm force winds and in some cases storm force winds of 50 miles per hour, 57 miles per hour or greater with gusts over hurricane force. So that means that we have to prepare states, private sector organizations, prepare for impacts to your transportation, communication, utility infrastructure from Lee as Lee moves northward. Now, I also want to show you those impacts because we're going to be bringing you more information as we get more details from the Hurricane Center and we sort of refine these model forecasts and most importantly, the National Hurricane Center's official forecast so we can talk about impacts. And that's what I want to do here. So throughout Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine, you should be preparing for potential impacts from Hurricane Lee. Whether it transitions to an extratropical system or not is not relevant at this point. You remember Hurricane Sandy when it made landfall in New Jersey in 2012. Well, the storm went below the threshold of a hurricane and structurally didn't look like a hurricane anymore, but you saw the impacts that happened. I'm not comparing this to Sandy in any other way, just to say that the wind field is going to be much broader than we can see forecast where I just showed you on GeoCollaborate. So expect wind impacts in these states, also large battering waves. That's going to happen no matter where Lee moves in the northern part of the Atlantic because it has such a growing wind field. It's going to be pushing a lot of water. So if you have any interest along the coastline, especially swimmers, don't do it. Don't go out there over the next 5 days. It's going to be very churned up water, and those swells from Lee are going to be making it to the northeast coastline during the day tomorrow. But we're also going to be seeing the impacts to utilities, and not only utilities, but transportation and logistics organizations. So the movement of products and services from one place to another could be impacted. When will that impact happen? That impact will happen on Friday in the southern parts of the area. So let's say Long Island in New York up to Connecticut and Rhode Island, Friday into Saturday, and then Saturday into Sunday for Cape Cod, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. There is a chance that the storm could slow down somewhat. We'll have more information on that as the days progress. But we are talking about at least preparing for potential significant impacts in the northeast part of the United States. I know you don't do this often. You see more coastal storms, nor'easters, winter storms. This one won't have any snow with it, but it will have a very large wind field and large battering waves along the coastline and impactful wind inland as well. We'll know more details as the days go on, but this has been an All Hazards Consortium Fleet Response Working Group update for the sensitive information sharing environment. We'll have another update tomorrow as things come into better focus, and Lee has started that turn towards the north. The speed of movement of Lee is going to increase during the day Thursday, between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Lee will be moving rather quickly. So the time frame may be adjusted. Just start thinking about your plans in the Northeast U.S. from Long Island northward and hope for the best, but we'll keep you posted. Next update will be tomorrow. Thanks for watching.